You're listening to the Beauty of the Business podcast, where our goal is to inspire and educate while we deep dive into the exciting world where beauty meets business.
Get ready for insightful conversations, empowering stories, and behind-the-scenes look at the powerhouse women shaping the new business world of today.
Hey gang, thanks for tuning in to episode 6 of the Beauty of the Business podcast. We are here today with the woman who I feel like needs no introduction, Alexis Weiss, who is my bestie in business life, personal life, all of the things. She was actually, and I think you know this, you might not know this, the person who inspired me to create the culture that I did at Canvas. Years ago, we were at a party, and at the time we were kind of rivals in our industry. Like, we did not like each other, but you either went to me or her and like had the same vibe of hair. And she walked up to me randomly and said, "Your work really inspires me." And that was the first time any stylist in my industry came at me with a positive energy rather than a "you're my competition" energy.
Still competition.
So when I decided to open Canvas, immediately it was a no-brainer to me that I would ask her to come join me in this little journey, and she's been with me ever since. And she is a mom of 3, a stylist behind the chair who is super hard to get in with, which is just a tribute to you, and also co-owner of Purefit here in New Smyrna, which is the only gym you should be going to. Yes. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're so very welcome. We love your energy and your, I don't know, just your take on attitude of life.
Not everybody does, but that's fine.
But that's totally fine. You're you, regardless, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the first time I walked into Canvas, my first day there, you were working, and I walked in and you said, "Hi, Jess, I can't wait to learn from you." And I'm walking into a place where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to learn from all of you. So to hear that from a stylist that I was just meeting it made a huge difference for me. So.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sad that you're not there.
She's part-time there, yes, for bridals only, but yeah, I mean, her energy is great.
Tuesday is the only day that matters. So.
Yes.
No weddings on Tuesday.
No, very on brand for you. You're like, I just care about my day.
Yes.
So you have had Purefit for almost 5 years now, because I think we're a year apart.
We just celebrated 5 years. We didn't actually open till September, but we got our business license like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Very exciting.
And you've gone from when you started, how many trainers to how many trainers do you have now?
We started with Nick and Aaron.
Nick, your husband.
Yes.
She has a special affinity for one of the trainers.
Yes.
If she's glowing, that's why.
Love him. And then now we have, I think, 10.
Wow.
Possibly 12.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about a little bit what inspired you guys to open Purefit and kind of your journey to get you there?
Well, Nick, my husband, is a personal trainer, and he kind of felt like he was in a ceiling, like he couldn't grow anymore. So he was feeling like he wanted to create something different than what he was used to. The fitness industry is pretty like one-dimensional, and with the functional training that we offer, he was feeling like he needed a space for that. So we were looking, and we met a really awesome couple, and they invested in us and gave us an opportunity, and we kind of ran with it with the intention of like, we have nothing to lose, and we created something really cool.
It's amazing. And if you've ever been to their gym, number one, it's the cleanest gym I've ever been to.
OCD.
Yes. And 2, just like the types of classes you offer and the types of training you do. You guys also specialize in athletes, surfers. Golfing is huge too. And I just really, really love that, because before that, especially in our town or the surrounding areas even, I mean, I could say even Daytona, I don't know.
I've never seen another gym like it. Our motto is "We move different." Mm-hmm. And it's funny because when we first opened, so many people told us like, "That's not working out. That'll never work. Like, good luck." And we're like, you want to move well for the rest of your life. Like, you can't add weight to dysfunction. And if you're lifting heavy things when you're 70, you can barely sit up straight. So like for us, it's more about like longevity of life versus aesthetic, which typically comes with it.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking care of yourself and you're moving well, then you're going to look good too. So
the functionality of it as a whole, of your body moving well, feeling well, looking well.
Yes.
All the things.
I love it. Yeah.
All of the things. Cold plunge, which you make me do. But Elena was the one who told me, like, what did she say? She was like, get out of your head and just like be in it. And like immediately my body felt warmer. And I was like, oh, this is how people do it. Because I was like, out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And I literally say that to myself. Like when I'm having, you can use it for so many different things, but for me, it's like mental health. Like if I'm feeling like I can't get out of my head, or I'm super anxious, or the kids are just driving me nuts, I'm like, I'm going to go cold plunge. And like when I get home, I'm like, what's for dinner? Like, let's cook, let's do this. Yeah. Like I'm ready. So for me, and it's really good for like if you're having pain, or I mean, there's a million different uses for it, but
I love it for the mental health thing because I think working out in general, when I'm in it, I'm kind of obsessive with it. I will drop off every now and then and it gets out of my routine. But when I'm in it, like I mentally feel stronger because physically I'm stronger, and I feel like those two things correlate often. Same thing with the cold plunge. I felt like, oh, I sat in that for a minute. Like, what else you got?
Exactly. Like when you don't want to do it, you need to do it even more because it creates that kind of like pattern. I don't know. There's probably a scientific term. But like when you get in that headspace, you're like, I just don't want to do it. You like push through. And it makes you feel better.
And you apply it to everything outside of that too. I love that so much.
Like I didn't want to do this.
So I cold plunged before.
I did last night. Yeah. I was like, I got this.
So I do think it's so funny that you are stressed out to be here, because I know at the salon, like you're one of the biggest personalities that I have. At least I feel. I mean, I love you for all of the things and all of the reasons for it. But even like Jess said earlier, you coming up to her and saying like, can't wait to learn from you, is not, because I had a conversation with her after that, what she expected to hear when she was first meeting you.
Can we talk about what you expected?
I didn't know anyone walking in, and so I'm coming in just like, oh, I'm just a hairstylist, you know. I didn't feel like I had anything to necessarily teach. I was coming in as a student, I felt. But when you said that to me, I was like, oh wait, I maybe do have some things to teach, and it made me feel empowered. But I didn't have any preconceived notions of you at all, of what to expect.
Lies.
No, I really didn't.
You don't lie.
Well,
but I think you're so unaware of like, you know, I know when you walked up to me at that party and were like, oh, your updos really inspire me. You didn't know you were saying that, and it was going to like hit this switch for me that I was like, holy shit. You know, someone who I look to as like being at my level or above my level is complimenting me. It's something I hadn't heard before. And like years later, you're doing the same thing. And it just goes back to like why I wanted to bring you on, because you have a lot to teach, for one. But two, you're not really what everybody expects. And I love that so much about you. As you hide in the corner, you're like, oh, no, I'm shy. Yeah, right.
I'm not shy. I'm just worried that you can like replay this and things I might say.
Don't worry, everyone's here to listen.
It's like the real world. No, just
It definitely is. I mean, salon life is real world for us, and like the things that we are told behind the chair. I mean, honestly, if anybody wants a stylist who gets all the juice, it's her. She works 1 day a week, and she comes in, and me and my clients are like,
yes.
Shh.
Literally, I'm like, bring the juice. Like, don't come without it. Like, go wreak havoc and then come in, because I'm here for it.
You're always there for it.
And I support you.
Yes. So talking about that, like what was your salon history and things that kind of guided you to not repeating the same things that I feel like our generation of stylists, it was very like, die hard, you assist for this long, your hours, you're treated like crap. And I know you got your license in California and you worked out there before moving back here, but somewhere along that way, like you went from that mentality being kind of beaten into you to having the mentality of like, oh, let's learn from each other and we can all grow together. Was there like a turning point for you?
I think there's like 2 points. Like California, I worked at a corporate salon, and I remember them, when I would challenge them, they'd be like, oh, it's in the handbook, and the handbook has been this way for X amount of years. And I'm like, well, that's even more reason why it should change. Like, why are we still doing this?
I love that you're like, I work for a corporate job and I challenge.
I challenge them all the time. And I mean,
Yes.
I was brand new there, and I think it was a love-hate. Like, corporate loved me because of the numbers, but like the people that worked with me, they're like, ugh. Like, she's charging for a toner. I'm like, it's an extra service and it's on the menu. You're overcharging. I'm like, no, I'm here to make money.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand. And then also from California, you didn't get to work at a salon unless you assisted there. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of ingrained in me. Like, you have to prove yourself to work here. And I assisted for probably 2 years over the course of 3 or 4 salons to find my home. And like, I really valued that because school doesn't really teach you how to do hair.
I agree.
You have to be in the atmosphere and like learning from all the different stylists. They all have so much to offer. And I really enjoyed that. I'm like, oh, I like the way she does highlights. I like the way she cuts. I like the way she blow dries. I like the way she books her schedule. And I'm like, I'm going to make a mold of all of you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I've carried on in my career. I'm like, oh, I love the way Jess does photography. Like, I love the way everything Lexi does.
All the things.
All the things. I want to be like
Sweet.
So I think I've carried that over into everything in life. Like, just surround yourself around people that you aspire to be like. And that's why I'm at Canvas.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I feel like I'm probably ridiculous of me to say, but I don't think so at all in the same factor. Like, you know, Canvas wouldn't be the same if you weren't there, regardless of how many times you were like, I'm gonna open my own.
Scenic, this is why I'm staying there.
No matter how many times we got into fights when I was going back and forth to New York and you challenged me and you were like, we don't feel like you care, I'm gonna open my own and do it better. And my response was, on what, the one day you work?
Yes.
And she was like, oh. But, you know, it was really great to have because, you know, you're in a position where we are really good friends and we, you know, you came on this journey with me from the start where no one else could say that to me back then. Even now, really, I don't really know of any other person that works for me that could be like, come at me really hard and me not be like, get the heck out of here. You know, so it's super valuable for me to have you. Don't ever leave, I'll die. Or I'll just come to you crying about all sorts of things.
Never leaving.
Never ever leaving. It's our home. We love it. But I do want to ask because, you know, I have 3 fur babies, which I can, you know, literally just shut the door and leave or take with me as I choose. But not only are you a stylist, you have 3 little ones. Who are beautiful and everything.
So cute.
They're the literal cutest.
Mind you, the last one is what softened her up. She wasn't so soft, just the boys.
Right.
But, you know, balancing home life, work life, business ownership life, and then trying to find time to, like, you know, do the things that matter to you and maybe throw in some self-care when you can. How? How do you do it all?
A village of people, honestly. Like, I couldn't do it without so many people in my life. And I think that's why I am so hardball, because I rely on so many people. Like, if you're like, my tummy hurts, I can't today, I'm like, bye. Like, I need someone I can count on. And that I've kind of created this group of people between my family, my friends, my nanny, my housekeeper, my everything to like allow me to be able to live the life that like fulfills me, and focusing on each day. Because when I think of it as a whole, like even you just saying all that, I'm like too much. Yeah, I'm like, what's my next task, and doing it to like the best of my ability. Because if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do my best. Like, I'm not just going to go in and half-ass it. So I think that's the easiest thing for me to get through, and a planner.
Okay.
That's new for me. Thank you, Miranda. She got me a planner and a mechanical pencil. That is very important.
That would be very important. Yes.
It is very important. And I love my pencil. And doing like daily, weekly, and monthly.
Okay.
And now I'm kind of like sitting down with Nick and I'm like, these are the things we need to go over. And once we go over them, then we can like move on. And then if we don't complete the task, it goes on to the next week and on to the next week.
That.
And there's some tasks that have been in my planner since it's open, but it's still there. Yeah. So, yes, I think that's all.
Okay. I love that. I don't have a planner. I probably should have a planner, but that's also why I forget to do things all the time.
Well, there's some weeks that my planner gets neglected, and it's like, I've noticed if I put it in my phone and then on my whiteboard and then in my planner, I'm like, I have all these things everywhere. But if it goes in the planner, like, it's more likely to be completed.
When did you start that, in January?
Yes.
Oh,
recently. Yeah.
I love that.
Maybe January. Yeah.
Okay.
Game changer.
Something that you said that I personally have to do is just looking at what has to be done today. Like you said, like you can zoom out and you can get very overwhelmed of all the things, all the balls that you juggle, and to zoom in and just be like, okay, what is it that I have to do next? And let me try to do it at the best ability that I can. And that is a game changer as well.
Yeah, it forces you to like prioritize constantly. Like for me, I'm very OCD, but my house, you would never know, because that had to take a back seat. I'm like, I can't be angry every day because my house is in distress, because I have 3 little kids and I work and I have all these priorities, and I realize like cleaning prioritized all the way down here. So like if that's my last priority, I can't get upset that my house is a disaster 24/7. And someone somewhere told me like, you'll never look back on your life and be proud of how clean your house was. And I was like, so when I'm like nagging everybody, and I still do. So we were playing a game, and it's like a game that you like family get talking or whatever it's called, and it was like, what is most important to mom? And it was like chores, cleaning, and then they're talking about dad, and they're like having fun, love. And I'm like,
Dad always gets the easy, like all the credit, all the fun.
But I'm like the friend. I'm like, okay, put your backpack in your room, shoes in the closet, la la la. And I'm like, can I just stop? I can't.
You know, I watched this thing. You can't. It's part of me. I watched this thing on, Instagram. We're always scrolling through random little videos and stuff. And it was this little experiment, which this reminds me of, obviously, where they sat down couples and said, if you could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be? So you hear like Nelson Mandela, like Marilyn Monroe, and like all these people they go through. And then the next scene is their respective kids being asked, if you could have dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? And you get to see the parents' reactions as the kids go, does it have to be someone famous? And they're like, no, it can be anyone. They're like, mom and dad, my family. I like every single kid. Didn't think of anybody but like their parents, and you see their parents like crying because the things that we're putting super high on the list, for like them looking back, like I'm sure you don't want to remember the one who made them clean. Like, mom's most important thing, excuse me, is cleaning.
And my house is a wreck.
You're like, look around. It can't be, guys.
Yeah. Well, at least when they get older, they'll be aware of being, oh yeah, my mom actually taught me
to clean. And to organize because of mom. I have a planner because of mom.
Yes.
All the great things.
Yes. You're instilling something good in them.
Yeah, but moderation for sure.
Yes, moderation.
So you and I, being that we've opened, granted, 2 completely different businesses, although aesthetically, beauty industry, in some kind of capacity, you know. I feel like we keep running into where, and I feel like part of this inspired, you know, besides just coming to me and saying, you need to do a podcast and I want to do it with you, inspired like me really thinking about doing this is because I realized through you that things that I was going through in my business, the ups, the highs, the lows, the team issues, were happening to you as well, but like a little bit later. So it almost felt like the same timing of owning a business, they were happening. And it made me realize like, oh, it's not just me. I don't suck. I'm not a terrible boss. I mean, maybe I am. Who knows? People might think that. That's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But it was nice to know, like, it's not only me. And I think part of us doing this is, like, showing other entrepreneurs or businesses, like, you're not in this alone. And it's not just you.
Yeah. It's the seasons.
Yeah.
It's the seasons of being a young business owner and thinking like, oh, we can create this amazing atmosphere and give all these freedoms.
You get it.
Yeah.
Freedom. We love you, Jess. You're going to get all these freedoms.
We're creating the perfect salon we always wanted. Then we're like, oh, that's why they did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you take a little, you create more boundaries, and then they don't like it. They don't like it.
No.
Yeah.
No, but, you know, it's something that you have to do in a business. And, you know, we're both still learning. And I think in business, you're always learning and growing and tweaking as you go. But, you know, I was very free when I first brought on a staff. I was like, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, I love this. Wear whatever you want. And then I was like, oh, but like, not that. But not that. But not like that. And so then I was like, okay, well now I have to retroactively create this like guidebook. But I also felt like I couldn't make this guidebook super strict because I hadn't been super strict because I trusted people had like the same vision.
And then hold them accountable.
Oh God. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And while I was doing this, I was like, wow, I really messed up because I should have done all of these other things prior to opening. And now I'm just...
And that's what we're doing right now.
Right. And like, I remember after all this happened with me that like, I want to say it was like 6 months later, 5 months later, you were like, oh, remember all that structure? I'm having to implement it now. And same thing. People in your industry
And it
weren't
takes
happy.
so long when you don't do it right out the gate because...
Yes.
But that's the beauty of it. There's like no wrong way, and you can constantly change and evolve. So it's like if you're constantly doing that already, then it doesn't feel so like controlled. It's like, oh, this isn't working. We're changing again. Okay, we're growing. We're changing again. Okay. So some people love it. Some people hate it. I thrive. Give me structure. Tell me like, this is where you need to be between these two lines. And I'm like, golden. You give me an open floor plan.
She's like zipping her mouth. She's like, yes. You do need structure.
But I love to give structure too.
Structure.
Oh, he loves me.
He does, yes.
Yeah. I'm so grateful. I mean, he's a huge part of like where I am today. So super grateful just to have someone to like guide me and be a good example and also not judge me. Mm-hmm. I remember when I first met his mom, she was like dancing on a chair, singing in the middle of a restaurant. And I was like, oh, he can handle me. And I was like,
perfect.
Yeah. And then the first time he was like, babe, you're being too much. I'm like, remember that one time? I am your mom.
You picked this.
Yeah, so no, I think, and being in business with him, we are complete polar opposites. So we've learned to kind of like, okay, this is how I feel and this is the way I think it should be. And then he says, okay, this is how I feel, this is how I think it should be. And I'd be like, okay, now we can meet in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then every now and then he's like, override. Like, okay.
You're like, all right, probably.
Yeah.
Probably
anything customer service related. Override.
No, but I do feel like being in the people industry is hard
You can't give everybody everything they want.
Yes. And it's taxing to people. Like, I don't even know how else to say it.
Like, is it worth a bad review? Maybe.
She's like, yes, come at me.
Well, like, people do take advantage of you when you're in business, and they want to get stuff for free, or they feel like, show me the value. I don't see value in this. And as long as you can show your value and you know that you're giving a good service, then...
Right. And honestly, I mean, when I, go to New York, I love posting how much workout classes cost in New York City. There isn't a membership. You don't get a membership. If you want a membership, it's $500 a month. I'm like, that's a car. So no.
Yeah.
I like the way I look, but not that much.
I'm gonna need to own the gym.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But in New York, whether it was like SoulCycle or Pilates, which I love, or even like a CrossFit class, it's $45 per class for a 40-minute class. So it's more than $1 a minute.
Are you listening, Nick?
And so, it was culture shock going from here, because I never thought your gym was expensive. I never thought your classes were expensive, but maybe that is too, because I knew what you guys were doing were so valuable, and there isn't anything else like it. So you can't compare it to anything else.
No.
But even with that being said, it's not
Well,
like
people come in all the time. They're like, oh, well, LA Fitness's sauna is included. I'm like, and your insurance will pay for it. You should go there. Like,
right,
I
yes.
don't like.
You can't offer what a corporation offers. That's insane. But it's not the same thing.
Yeah, we're not a multi-billion-dollar business. We would love to be, but I feel like we would also lose our culture. So I don't know that that's something that I'm even interested in. And I mean, we have decided to do like week free intros, so you can feel the difference when you come in, because we normally don't give anything away from free. We are a small family owned business, and we don't accept insurance. So it's really hard to be like, oh, well, I hear about the culture, but like, how can I feel it in a day?
Yeah, but I spend more money a month on coffee than I do my gym membership with you.
And for some reason, there's like some kind of disconnect, because I think it is because insurance pays.
4 days of my coffee pays for my gym membership.
And I think it's setting the value around, because often people say, oh, you guys are the most expensive in town. And I'm like, no, we're the most valuable. Like, we have so much to offer. And when you really put it into perspective, you get so much for the amount of money that you're spending.
Well, and your gym isn't a gym, in my opinion anyway, where you just come in and you like run on a treadmill, or you go get behind a machine and like do some things. Anytime I've walked in, you guys are hands-on. Yeah. You're there working with people. You're spending your time with people, and you have the more modern and more functional, up-to-date types of exercises that it's not just your, run-of-the-mill stair climber or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are doing things that are kind of cutting edge, and you guys
are different.
They move different, literally.
Yeah, we don't have any machines or anything like that. And it does create the relationship with the trainers and the staff, because you're kind of looking around and you're like, I don't know. They're like, oh, you could put like signage on the wall. I'm like, no, I want the conversation to happen. I don't want people reading pamphlets and signage and going on Instagram. I want people to like interact and like get to know each other and like build relationships. And that's the coolest thing ever, is like, we have the most incredible clients. Like,
your community there is amazing.
Yeah, it feels like a club, like a part of the
yacht club at
Purefit.
Purefit.
Yeah.
No yacht.
Exclusive members only.
Yeah. No, for the low price of $44 a month, you can be a member too. Sorry.
We don't discriminate at all. No, but it's very true. Like, I've even had clients who, are new to the area and come into the salon, and they're looking for, the basics, and a gym is one of those things. And I always recommend you guys, especially because, and I tell my clients this, like, it's not a gym where you walk in, people are like slamming things down, grunting and throwing up crazy weight and looking at you like, who are you? And I've never seen you here before. You walk in, everyone's like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing today? Can I help you with anything? And you're like, oh,
And you could literally like bring your sword in there and like start like air sword fighting, and no one would bat an eye.
And they'd be like, "What do you like? Can you teach me that?"
Yeah,
that was so cool. And
I remember being at LA Fitness, and I was doing some mobility that Nick showed me before we opened Purefit, and one of these meat guys walked up to me. He's like, "What is that even doing? Like, are you even working out?" And I was like, I felt confident in doing it, but then after that, I'm like, what am I doing? And like, that would never, ever happen at Purefit. Like, they would be like, that's so cool. What is that? What is that? Help your hips? Like, what are you doing over there? Like, everyone's so intrigued by each other, and they all want to learn. And that's kind of the atmosphere that I've created. I'm just kidding. Nick is the same way. Like, I know this is about girls, but.
No, you can plug your man as much as you want. I mean, you guys are in business together too. I mean, you guys are a great counterbalance for one another. Yeah. And you're in it together, which is huge, and I think adds to the community, right? I mean,
like, if you're the type of person that you want to come in, put your headphones on, head down, like, there's a space for you, but like, you could find us annoying.
Yeah.
Just put your head down. I don't know.
Just put your head down.
Like, not today, guys. But that's the beauty of it. Like, we have so many members that have Planet Fitness, Orange Theory, LA Fitness, and they have all these things. Like, you don't have to just be a member to one place. Like, Purefit could be your cold plunge and sauna, or just your community-based, you know, like yacht club type of thing. And then your insurance can pay for other places. It's like, I feel the same way about hair. Like, you can get your hair cut by me, and get your color by Lexi, and get your extensions by Catherine, and like, you're welcome.
Right,
like,
absolutely.
Like, I will never make you feel like, if you take a break from Purefit and you leave and you come back when you're ready, like, we're always here. And it happens all the time. Like, oh, like, I'm just gonna go over here, my girlfriend's going over here, we're gonna work out together. Like, cool. I remember leaving the last gym I was at, and they were like, kicked me out. Like, I didn't even get to finish my 30 days. Like, bye, you're gone. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm never coming back now. Like,
absolutely not.
Even if I wanted to, I'm picking somewhere else.
Right. So
what have you learned, or you feel like is like the best advice for, you know, you call them the seasons, and you were the first person to tell me that, and it made me feel so much lighter about the things that were happening in that time. You're like, it's just the seasons. And I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna pass. It's a high and a low.
it's manic.
You're like, it's nothing higher, it's just me.
Duality, some may call it.
Yeah.
Highs and the lows.
FYI, people, apparently I really love Virgos, because there's only like 2 people at the salon who are not Virgos. So our energies vibe for some reason. Virgos.
We're Virgos.
Which is weird, because you guys are
opposite.
I was gonna say, don't take this offensively, very opposite to me.
I agree.
Yeah. But I mean, you take my concept of what a Virgo is down to earth, but also like wants to be perfect. Like, everything you do, you want to do it your best. That is very important to you. So that can come out as, I don't know, being anxious in some ways, like having this need to like reach a certain level of perfectionism in your own right.
Yeah.
Well, and I also pass that down to other people. I've noticed, like, people that work with me or for me or are around me a lot, they're like, I thought you were mad at me. And I'm like, I'm not mad at you, but I'm just telling you, like, it could be better.
High expectations.
I have really high expectations. And like, you, like, oh, I don't feel good on my period today. I'm like, I got a period too. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, it's just, my personality is like, okay, like, then go home and don't come, or like, you're here to work. So, and that could just be like, we're at brunch. And I'm like, oh, you don't feel good? Then why are you here?
Be here now.
Be here now. Like, you.
I mean, these are the things that I love about you, because you do, like I said earlier, like, you come at me in those same ways, and like, a lot of times, especially now, I feel like the world has gotten softer, where everyone wants everyone to kind of shift to whatever and how they're feeling, but as a business owner, you can't always do that. Like, if you're having a bad day, please text me before you get to work. You're having a bad day, because
Oh, I do. Bring me coffee.
Yeah, she'll be like, bad day, I need X, Y, and Z. Because if not, my personality is where I'm going to look at you and you'll be with a client and I don't know what's going on and go, what's wrong with you today? And it necessarily isn't me asking.
And that can ruin someone's day.
I have learned to not just, because to me that's what I would want someone to do, or just like, I'm like, oh, you're off. Like, why are you off today? And normally I'd expect you to say like, oh, I got my period, or like, oh, I had food poisoning last night. But I have learned in 6 years of business that usually it's something bigger, and maybe, maybe temper that. A little bit, you're like, yes, and we're playing all the times that
yes. You have softened me, Lexi.
I've softened?
You've softened me.
Oh, I've softened you.
Just seeing how you interact with the staff and like personal stuff that's going on where I'm like, oh, moving on.
Who cares? We're working. Yeah. We talked about in our last
coaching.
episode with Savannah that like we do, one of the things that I try to do, at least as a business owner, is like, and I want my stylist to do it. I did it as a stylist too. It's a service industry. You're a service industry too. No client is sitting in the chair paying money to hear about my problems. I'm there to let them unload and be there for them. So, you kind of have to like switch hats when you walk through the door. And, it's kind of hard sometimes. And like go to the bathroom and cry for 5 minutes, or go to your car and blare some music and hype yourself up.
Or take a day.
Take a day off.
Take a day.
Sometimes I can't take a day off because I don't know where I put people.
No days off for you, Lex, but everyone else.
But same thing, like, when you show up at your gym, you can't have someone who is bringing down all of the energy and bringing their personal to work, because it does affect.
Well, and that's how I feel too, like with anything, like if you need to take a day, if you need to take 10 days, like whatever you need to do, I'm never going to tell you no, but I'm moving on. Like I'm moving in this direction. So like take as much time as you need. Like, and I think that's just more with creating more friendships in business. Mm-hmm. And then when you're like, oh, okay, like I can't baby you, like I have to move on. So
we're working on boundaries.
I'm working on boundaries. Like it's hard because I really do genuinely love everybody that I work with. So when something's happening to them, I'm like a chameleon. I'm like, you're sad, I'm sadder. Like you're mad, I'm madder. Like let's get them. Like we're going. So
you've got their back 100%.
100%.
You're all in. You're like, we're gonna fight. Where is it at? But
yeah, I'm like, where are we fighting?
She's like, where are we going? No, but I feel like we briefly talked about this before we started recording. I have set boundaries for myself with my stylist because we do work in such a close environment. We do feel like family, but at the end of the day, I'm still their boss, and so I need to be able to make corrections and then be received from not like she's like my mom type of figure.
I'm struggling with that.
Yeah. It's hard because like I would love to go out and like go out to like a bar and also have like a good time and just, throw work out the window for the night, but it's not unfortunately how the world operates. And like I tell
like is there a place where you can be like, oh, we went out last night, we had fun, you come in hungover, you come in late, and you're like, oh, you're written up. Like, we still cool, but
right, but like,
you still have to come to work on time. Can you do that?
But then they're like, you co-signed on me going out. You bought me the drinks, and now you're in, right? So there will
you're
never
late.
be... Huh?
You're late. I was here on time. No, I'm just kidding.
I did the same.
And that's where it gets weird, right?
Right, yeah. Which is why I just don't do it. Like, I'm not going to co-sign on you going out and partying. I'm not going to co-sign on anything that I don't think is a good reflection of my brand. With my staff members. I'm not saying, guys, go live your life. Like, absolutely. I'm just going to go for dinner and I might have...
But is there a line, too, where you're, like, always representing the brand? Because I feel like there always is. Yeah, like, if...
And if anybody, like, yeah, you have to. I mean, I feel like I try, especially now, I think I learned it...
We're in a small town.
The smallest of small towns. But I think when I went to Lo Wheeler's class in New York... she's got the whole beach washed hair. Her whole vibe, even being in New York, was still this California beachy cool, right? And something clicked. I don't know if you guys can hear that my dog is snoring on the floor.
I'm sorry, we're so bored.
Hopefully we're a little more entertaining for you guys. But I did learn from her, and like, she didn't even really bring this up in the class, but something in her class clicked for me, where not only is my social media, my story posts of like what my social media life looks like, because let's all be real, everything you're posting on your story
image, yeah,
is aesthetic and not those dumb videos you're taking that are just on your phone, you know? But that everything represents...
Note to self.
But everything has to circle back and represent the brand. So like, you know, even Lo was like, oh, I'm going to cut my hair. And I was like, oh, that could be cool. And I was like, I can't cut my hair. My brand is Surfer Girl hair. I probably will almost never have short hair.
Never. Again.
Also not cute. I'm not like you. I can't pull off big head, big face. It's not my look. She's like, you said it, not me, but I was thinking it. But same thing, you know, if I had an opportunity to have extensions, like that would be great for me too. The way I dress, even outside of work, is going to try to always like exude some sort of like surfer beachiness. You won't see me, you know, looking like a very New York type of vibe. I used to do that, but I've, in the last year, kind of tweaked everything and learned, like, I want you to, you know, meet me and see my business and it all be like, oh, that's so her.
Yeah.
Right? So same thing, like, you're not a big drinker. You guys are mostly sober, right? For the...
Yes.
Look at you with wide eyes. You're mostly sober. I'm not saying...
We're going
like,
down this road.
No, but like it does impact because that's what you guys teach, but you also live it. It's not like on your Instagram there are these crazy party things happening and then like she's like, but no, you do this. You live differently. They're gonna, right? Like,
very true.
You guys just did that amazing surf event this past weekend, or 2 weekends ago? 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends in a row.
Was it 2 weekends in a row?
I'm like, who signs me up for this shit? I do.
I didn't. I regret it later. The planner wasn't planning.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
But like, you guys go to those and you have little classes, and then everything goes back to like, you guys train the surfers. When surfers come to you and then they compete better.
They win.
They do.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, but it's true.
It's
I've
so
watched
true.
it just,
Yeah.
and I can see it on your stories, and then everything flows. And like, I mean, you meet Nick, and you're immediately, you know, surfer dude. He may hate me for saying this, but like the turtle from Finding Nemo, what's up, dudes?
What's up, dude?
Is Nick.
Hey, friends.
So cool.
You're so cute.
But, you know, I mean, you guys put into practice and do the work and you live it every day. And I think that is also what helps, you know, the brand and your community too, because the people that are inspired by that or who are now members at Purefit, and the girls are now clients at Canvas, and you know, it's beneficial all around.
Well, yeah. And even like when I first started dating Nick, I was like, oh, this is a facade. Like, there's no way that he's like this all the time. Like, no, it's real. And it's like rubbed off on me because this is not who I've always been. I was fucking train wreck. I mean, I'm still a train wreck, but I was way worse. So he's completely changed my life just by living by the example. Even when I fall short, he's like still strong. And he's like, look, this is where we're going to get you back to feeling good, making your priorities the right ones.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, sometimes I'm like, I just want to go out with my girlfriends. I just want to like not come home. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good. I don't even have that feeling anymore. Now I'm like, okay, I said I would go, but I don't want to go because I want to be with my family. I want to feel good tomorrow. I have a busy week ahead. Like,
you're doing the 6-week challenge. You're competing against me.
And even when I do go, I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sitting at the bar.
Your life goals aren't aligning with those people now.
I'm like, but I got really cute. I think that's what it is. I want to get dressed up and I want to be cute, and that's what Tuesdays are for me.
That's Tuesdays. Now it's Tuesdays.
Hair days are like, I'm glam. I feel good. I socialize. Like, it's not just doing hair for me. Like, they're also like feeding my social need. I'm very social.
you're very patient.
I'll be at the grocery store. I'm like, oh, what are you cooking? I'm like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go cook that too.
Sounds great. I'm gonna do that as well. Are those things that you try to instill in your trainers and like the culture that you bring with your employees? And
No, I mean, we do, but we definitely, I feel like you kind of like attract the same kind of people that you are, but we definitely encourage you to be yourself. Like, not be one brand. Like, I know on like Instagram and like in life right now, it's very aesthetic, and like if you post one thing, maybe the same kind of music, and we really strive to let everybody be themselves. So like whatever you want to wear, whatever you, within reason, good hygiene, or whatever music, or like be as funky as you want to be and be genuinely you. I feel like that's also like, we're not a bodybuilding gym. We're not a functional training gym. We're not a surfer gym. Like, we're whatever you need us to be. And like most gyms, you have a trainer. We like really promote cross training. So, you know, like instead of being like, oh, like I do this all the time. I go get my nails and I'm like, I want someone who's really good at shape. And like, Nina right here. And I'm like, she does it. I'm like, if someone comes in and asks for something specific, instead of who's next in line, it should be who best fits that person, because you're going to create a lifetime like member or client or friend.
Lose one.
Yeah, or lose
if it's
one.
not the right fit.
Or you could get lucky and get
Right.
someone good. But like if you come in with a knee injury and strength goals, there's two different people. And maybe they both do it, but 9 times out of 10, my strength trainer is going to be like, I think you should work with my running coach. He'll help fix your knee pain. I can work on your strength, and together we'll get you exactly where you need to be. And that's like where we focus on, like being very genuine and giving them exactly what they want.
I love
You get someone out of pain, they love you for life.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great that you're a follow-up episode to a pain doctor. Well, not a pain doctor, she's a chiropractor. It's very, and you guys actually, I feel like I saw when I was at your class, your burn class the other day, that you had like a chiropractor there.
He is a mobile chiropractor. He does not work for Purefit, but I found him in excruciating pain, and he was wearing a shirt in the gym, and I was like, do you have your table right now? And he was like, I do. And he, different than in the past where I've been with chiropractors, it's just like a 2-minute assessment. They crack you up, they send you on your way. He taught me, he did tests to show me where my pain was coming from, and then taught me exercises to help strengthen that. And of course, I mean, if you have an issue with your back or whatever, it's always going to pop up. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of on call.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
I love him.
Another yacht club aesthetic for you. On-call chiropractor.
Yeah, he's amazing. But
that's awesome. Do you implement those same mindsets behind the chair?
Which ones?
Of like, you know, if you are not the best at XYZ, passing it along. And I mean, I know we did
100%.
Like, you know, bouncing
100%.
between me, you, and Catherine or Hannah, or whoever it may be. Do you ever shift clients to like, you know, maybe I'm not your person, and how does that conversation go?
Almost every day. One being that my schedule is so limited, but also I've reached this point in my life where like if I don't love it, I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not good at it, like you said, I want to be perfect. So I also don't want to do it. But I feel like it brings me joy to fill other people up. So if it's something that I think another stylist can do just as good, I try to push them down. I know it's not my salon, but I love all the girls there and working with them, especially when they work with me, like assisting, and then they're in their chair. I feel like they're my babies. Yeah. And like, it makes me feel good when like Toa just got her hair done by Hannah, and that's one of my trainer's wives, and like seeing her and seeing how beautiful she looked after she got her hair done. And like, I was going to move my schedule around so I could go do her hair because I wanted to do it so bad, but I'm like, Hannah or anyone at the salon can do just as good. And now everybody, like Hannah's fed and Toa looks beautiful and
You're scheduled.
my cup is full.
And you weren't overwhelmed trying to make it happen.
And that's what I'm realizing. I can't do it all.
See, remember when I said we're going to talk about how you balance everything? You're like, I don't.
Well, and 2 years ago, I would like drive myself
right.
nuts. And like now I'm like I just gave up payroll. 2 years ago, I'd have been like, nope, I'll be doing payroll in the grave, on vacation, wherever. And like just allowing people the opportunity to do it and do it their way. Because there's an Alexis way and that's the right way. But there's also other ways and it can be just as great. But this is very new for me. Okay. Delegating.
I'm proud of your growth.
Yes. Delegating.
But you can't do it all. And I mean, let me rephrase that. You can't do it all and do it all well. Right? So I'm glad that you're, taking the opportunity to delegate when needed, because that is super important. Plus, I feel like when you give people or trust people enough to have a little bit more responsibility, they become a little more invested with the brand and the company. And then they can see like their own growth.
I totally agree.
As I can see you like clenching your teeth, like I'm giving up control. Control.
I'm still struggling with that.
Deep breaths in the corner over here. But it doesn't mean that they have that, responsibility forever. If they're not doing a good job, you can take it back. That's because you're like the boss.
Yes.
It's not a definite or permanent thing. If it doesn't happen, it can be. If it takes something off your plate, great.
Oh, definitely. Like Nick and I just wrote down all of our goals, and for a long time they were completely different. And we sat down with our mentor and he's like, well, first of all, you guys need to get on the same page. So
clearly very
yeah. And my biggest goal is I want to be completely hands off. And like, how can you be completely hands off without delegation and protocols and procedures? And like, so like you said, we're going back to where we should have had right when we first opened, and implementing all these things where we have all this kind of free for all, come and go as you please, do as you wish. And it feels like we're like disconnecting and creating structure, but really we're just trying to create something that's long lasting and not just be a business that opens and closes, because that's what most small businesses do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, yeah, you're making money, but where are you going to go from here? You can't do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you figure out how to be less hands-on, let me know, because I tried. But that was when I realized, like, I think I've said it before, like, you are your brand, and people, like, I would equivalent it to, like, you or Nick not being present as much in the gym.
Well, I feel like we definitely have to have a presence. Like what I've noticed with so recently, Nick, he trains sun up to sundown, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., then comes home, cooks dinner. I mean, he's amazing. But he just took one day off of work, Mondays, to just be there, to work on the business, not in the business. And even today, I could see that he was like, and I'm like, no, you just be here. You are so amazing. You greeting people, seeing if anybody needs anything, like clean up, work out, show off, like do your thing. And like, I feel like that's even more valuable. So putting more trust in our employees and being like, you don't need me to do this. If you need help, I can help oversee it. If something goes wrong, we can fix it. And just be there for support and available, and still be in the vicinity. I mean, obviously, if you open multiple locations, you lose that kind of culture, right. And it's going to be different for every location, but we still haven't decided what that goal is. Like,
yeah,
I know this isn't it for us, but I'm not sure what is.
So that's kind of exciting.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Growth always is.
Growth is, right? Yeah, I think it definitely shifts. I've talked about potentially having a second one, but I can't be spread any thinner than I am. I think if I did anything, I would just have to like make a bigger one. But, still be present. It's hard sometimes.
Well, that's what Nick says. He's like, because my goal is I want to be in the salon more. And he's like, well, would you open your own salon? And I'm like, no, that doesn't even make sense for me, because like I'm so happy where I am, and I would be basically creating the same thing that Lexi created, but I would have all the stress,
all the other things.
I would have to manage everything that I have such a perfect space there where I can like genuinely be me. I can fill my like education need. I get to mentor. I get to be myself. Like
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the Tuesdays. They're the best. And your clients are great, and I love seeing them. Which is really cool because, recently, since you signed me up for this 6-week challenge, I'm about to do another one.
I'm ready.
Ooh.
Do you want to do it?
Are you trying to rope me into something?
Yeah, a little bit putting you on the spot here for everyone. So we, after our episode with Whitney, I decided to kind of take some of her advice and make somebody the director of fun, which was Nikki, our manager, because she's so much like coming down on people that I figured having a positive side to what she does would be great. And all the girls were sending her ideas, but it's hard because most of the ideas revolve around alcohol. Whether it's, we're going to go on a sunset cruise on a sailboat, we've got this friend who does XYZ, or, oh, we can go to dinner at this place, or let's go to Mathers in Orlando. And, she's even more of a hard ass than me when it comes to the boundary line. And she was like, absolutely not. Like, that's not what we're doing. She's like, we can go rock climbing. And they were like, no, terrified. So we came up with the team bonding idea, to do a 6-week fitness challenge from Purefit together as a team.
What's better than that?
I mean, nothing. Accountable. It's a long term, and like we're going to be working out together and making time to do that, and holding one another accountable, because we'll be eating together during the week, seeing people show up. So if you want to join, it starts this week.
Starts this week?
This week. Yeah, it'll be probably the scans this week, and then the actual workout start next week, or maybe start when the candle. You tell me.
You
tell me.
I'll make a plan. Yeah.
Because they are asking me, like, what does that entail? And I go, that's an Alexis question.
So generally, a 6-week program with me or with Purefit it's built to fit your needs. So there's guidelines, but you create those guidelines. So no cheat meals. That's super vague. It can be, we typically choose 3 things that you can completely remove from your diet and replace with a healthier option. So it can be as vague as like, I'm not going to eat potato chips, or it can be like more broad and be like, I'm not going to eat simple carbs. I'm going to stick to complex carbs. So sweet potatoes, quinoa, stuff like that. So if you're right at the beginning of your fitness journey, you can be like, I'm not going to drink soda. I'm not going to eat fast food, and no more chips. Or because that's what we found is like, not everyone has weight loss goals. We have like just want to be a better you. So less screen time, which would be really hard for the girls, but it's not necessarily working on your phone. It's more just like aimlessly scrolling. And we'll go all out with the girls. We'll get them all the workout once a day, and then 30 minutes outside. So whether it's, typically your dogs get a little bit more love or do yoga, or so there's all these different guidelines, but they're not so strict or so binding that you don't feel like you can accomplish them. And then we reassess, like maybe 3 weeks through, you're like, this is too hard, or I can do better. And then we have a partnership with the Med Spa of NSB. They've been amazing. So they have a fit scan there where it gives you all your body composition. So
which is terrifying, by the way. Also, note to anyone taking a body scan, I love the Med Spa. They're amazing. Abby will be on soon.
Yes.
Your clothes matter.
Your clothes matter.
Oof.
Wear a
Hard
bikini.
lesson.
Yeah. Nothing digging.
Tight. What are these called?
Biker shorts.
Biker shorts. Whew, not the look.
Not the look.
Not the look. I had no belly button.
So you already did your skin?
My first one, yeah. Well, 2 now, because excuse me. I've already done a 6-week challenge where we basically competed against one another because like we said, we love each other. We also love a competition.
Yes, we do.
Which is great for business too. We just keep one-upping one another. Yeah, so I did one. She's like, oh, just wear like tight-fitting clothing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool, I got this. And I got my skin. I was like, oh, my legs go in. They go in and then they go back out. She's like, that's your shorts. And I was like, that is a horrifying 360 up. No belly button, this weird giant indent. Yeah, no.
But it's great because like typically like it shows like your body composition, your fat mass, your lean mass, your weight, all your posture.
Which for
So like
stylists,
mine is always a posture goal.
my neck.
So like for me at the end of the 6 weeks, I gained a pound, but I lost 6 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle. So if you're like looking at the scan, you're like, oh, I gained a pound.
I'm so jealous. Look at her face. She's like, I wasn't gonna tell you. I beat you. I only gained 3 pounds of muscle.
But your body, but the image
whew, better.
Yeah. So you have to give yourself, and it's only 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Which is why we're doing another one.
We're doing another one. We're
So
going to do it
at
as a
12
team.
weeks.
It's
Yes.
going to be fun.
I think it's going to be really great, and I think it will be a good bonding thing, and I think I kind of feel like more companies or businesses should maybe think about doing bonding things that are healthy.
Well, and
bonding
it's like
things,
healthy
you know?
competition. Like that's every time a new gym opens up in town. We're like, oh my gosh, like the new gym. Look at them. Look at how they post. Look at D1. But I'm like, no, it just like encourages you to step your game up, and there's enough business for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think everybody's going to do great. If not, they can do it again. And again and again and again for life, because I do it every year. All year.
It's never ending. It's called life.
It's called
We're all
reset.
bumbling through it.
Yeah.
None of us actually know what we're doing.
Control, delete. That's fine.
So we did talk briefly. I don't even know where this ended up going. And if you decided to do this, because, you know, all my stylists are W-2s, which in our industry is a weird fuzzy area. I don't know why. Listen.
Same.
If you work at a salon and you're a contractor, nobody can tell you when to show up, when to leave, what to wear, what to use, anything. If they're doing it wrong. And they're lying to the government, so tell them that they're doing it wrong. Or don't work for them because they're being shysty. But if you are a W-2 employee, hours, structure, I can tell you what to wear. I can tell you what products to use. I can tell you things I'm liking and I'm not liking, and that I need you to tweak. And there are rules and guidelines. That being said, on the business side of things, which I know you handle for Purefit a lot of the back end, payroll tax is the death of me. And, you know, I know you briefly, like, as a one-off said, like, I might throw everyone on 1099s because it has gotten so expensive on our end to run and operate a business. But there is that checks and balances of, do I want to give them all that freedom back as a contractor? Or do I want to eat it in cost? And have you made a decision, or was that just like a flippant day?
We're working on it. But what we've realized is we do want more control. Mm-hmm. We do want more control because at the end of the day, Purefit is a culture, and we do want to hold everyone accountable to what they wear and when they come to work. And right now it is very freestanding, but just talking to some of my 1099s, they do want it. Mm-hmm. They want it. They want more. And so we're just trying to figure out what, like, if they're there, do we have to pay them the whole time that they're there? Can they just be paid for when they're working? Can they be paid like a floor amount and be like an assistant, and they do like light, or they can be like sales and do. So we're still figuring that all out, which makes it really difficult when you do it after the fact. Right. But that is in the works.
I know when you started with me, I'm not sure if you know this, but she was previously at a salon suite and she was 1099. And, you know, I had gotten a lot of backlash previously from, you know, making everyone a W-2. To me, I've been both, I've seen both. I know culturally what works. But I was trying to set her up in the system, and I was like, oh, what's your email so I can get you on our Square app? Oh, no, I was asking you for your direct deposit info. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, I need to create a business account. And I was like, I mean, you don't. I was like, you're W-2. And I don't know if you want to take a...
Yeah. I was like, oh, you just made my day. Because before being even at a salon suite, I was working at a salon as an employee, being 1099. And so I was doing my own taxes this whole time, not really, I was very young at that time, not really understanding what was supposed to be done, what wasn't supposed to be done. I was being treated as an employee, but being taxed as a 1099 independent contractor. And that was the first time in my life I had ever worked at a place, done hair, that my taxes were going to be taken out, Social Security was going to be handled, all those things. And I think there's so much to be said about being, you know, self-employed or an entrepreneur, but it sounds really nice,
Yeah.
to be 1099, but you have to then have a lot of responsibility in making sure all of your things are in order. You're keeping all your receipts,
and you're planning
your
for your
future. Planning for your future, yes.
Because
exactly.
if you're 1099 and you're doing yourself a disservice by claiming a loss, because at the end of the day, when Social Security rolls in, there's not going to be much there for you. And I think at the end of the day, what we want to create is careers at Purefit. So if that means giving some kind of benefits or contributing or whatever that might be,
whether it be growth or longevity.
Yeah.
We're definitely in that phase of the business where, like, we want you to be so well paid, so comfortable in your own skin there, and that you have a future there that even if you could open your own and go somewhere else, you don't want to.
Right.
Just like when someone offered you to work for them for free. And you said, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, I love this.
I mean, it's all about atmosphere, right? Like, what fills you up. Like, at the end of the day, if you're going to work every day and you're making $1 million and you're miserable,
yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And I have never been in a salon where I'm not bullied. You know, like going in.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I am the bully that pushes you to be your better self. I'm not like, oh, you wore too much eyeliner today.
Right.
I don't like your shoes. I'm like, get on your game, bitch. Let's go.
I mean, like I said earlier, like, you do it to me too, and you're, you know, probably the only person within my business who I can receive that and receive it well from. But yeah, I mean, I think.
And I noticed too, like, when my friends or my peers are going through something and they don't want to hear it from me, they disconnect from me.
Yes.
And then they come back and they even tell me, they're like, I couldn't be around you because I wasn't ready to step up, or I didn't want to hear it. So and I'm like, oh, well, I missed you.
I missed you. At least
But I can't not. I mean, my sister tells me all the time, like, back off. Like you're being too much. And I'm like, well, I know your potential. I know your potential, and you're making every excuse not to do it. So
yeah, maybe they just need a cold plunge.
Definitely.
Get in the cold plunge. No more excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. I mean, I've avoided it for a long time, and then I just did it. And
you just do it. So when are we doing it again? I'm just kidding.
Wednesday, maybe?
Perfect.
Maybe Wednesday morning.
We'll see. I'm having to schedule in my workouts now because
she beat me once. You have to try not to beat her twice.
Well, I have a bikini vacation coming up, so good luck, bitch.
I love you for that. But that's like, honestly, like that's why we're friends, is because like I need push a lot of times, or like that little competitive reminder to like, you're being lax, because I can do it with social media, I can do it in business, I can do it behind the chair and just be like, but you know, it goes back to like surrounding yourself with the people that like inspire you and you want to be like I can't, the snoring is I can't even see what dog that is. I'm thinking it's my female, but I have a feeling it's not. But you know, surrounding people that make you want to one up your game or step up your game, because I can't do bad hair next to Alexis as their clients are getting out, right? Because there's a direct comparison. So same thing in
100%. That's why I left my old salon and came to Canvas, because I felt like I couldn't even charge what I deserved to be paid because of the quality of work that was going out next to me.
Right.
And I felt like but I literally told my old boss that I'm like, I can't charge $300 for this hair when the shit that's going out next to me, like, it's so bad. Like, I just can't even be around it.
Right. Well, one, it's not inspiring, and two, same thing, like you said, you can't.
And
you don't feel as valuable.
And when they're complaining, you're like, oh, well, the X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, like, you should educate them or put them in a class and I get it, like in a rental atmosphere, like you can't control, but that's why it's so important to have control, because you can say you need to take a break and you need to go back to assisting. And
yes, exactly. But I think you do the same thing with Purefit. Like, your trainers are very specialized and they know what they're talking about. And if they don't, I feel like
we have like supported them in the fact that we encourage you to say, I don't know. Let me educate myself and I will get back to you. Well, you can't know everything. No. You can't know every injury. Like, and anyone who does know everything, they're full of shit.
Yes.
Like,
of course.
So, or like, this is out of my realm. Like, and we'll even like refer them outside of Purefit. It's at the end of the day, it's what's best for the client or the person or whatever. So we love that.
Yeah. It's the only way to be, I don't know. I feel like it's the only way to be successful is to be very true about what you're good at, what you're not good about, recognizing that, taking the ego out of it, and really wanting to invest in your people. You know, at the end of the day, they're your brand, they're representing you. She's like, yes, are they?
I'm so proud of all
your stuff is good. It's come a long way, I feel like, and
yeah.
I've watched kind of from an outside perspective because I'm hit and miss as to how much I'm in town, and so I'm not super in it to feel like I knew everyone at any point, but when you walk in, there's definitely always been this really nice culture, and your staff is definitely crushing it.
I think it's hard when people don't mesh. Like, you know, not everyone's going to mesh. And I think that's something you went through. And I don't feel like it's so much anymore. No, but like
tired Virgos and everyone's like easy peasy, but like really perfectionists in their silent way. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
But how did you get through that? Like,
hire Virgos.
Like when a stylist is like calling you and constantly complaining about another stylist. Mm-hmm. Is it
She's
me?
She's like, wait, it's me. I'm the problem. The stylist I'm talking about is myself. Yeah. I mean, it happens. I mean, I guess I just try to take in what you're saying and then try to, you know, make a... Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between someone just always having something negative to say or someone complaining and someone actually having like constructive criticism. That's something that I think is the difference, where you're not just... you know, you aren't just calling Lexi with just because you feel like bitching. I don't think anyway.
She's like, sometimes it might be. But, you know, Alexis, once you get to know her and those who work with her, know she is like a strong personality, and could be potentially hard to work for. I used to, in a previous season of your life, call you reactive, but you are not so reactive after all of your children. But it was something I learned from you that I was like, she's gonna be mad right now, but tomorrow it's not even gonna matter. So I know you were there when I made that book of our values and principles, and the no stacking thing was huge. Don't tell me or come to your boss with an issue that you're like haven't brought up before, but it's been happening over and over, and now all these other little things that this person is doing is bugging you just because you didn't address the very first issue. So the moment something happens, calling your boss, your manager, and being like, hey, I can't stand, I don't know what happens at your gym, like that this person leaves this over here every single time and it's always in my way, and like they just don't effing put it back. You know, hopefully they don't address the trainer or the person who's doing it, and that's the manager, to either say like, Well, they can leave it there. It's annoying, but they don't have to put it any specific way. Or if there is, you know,
Right.
Going to that person and being like, hey, we've noticed that this X, Y, and Z, and we don't want people to trip or whatever, because normally it's not there. So we really need you to focus on putting this back. But I think you and I both learned to not respond in the moment and to like let our emotions hit that high and then come down and then circle back. Ooh, because there are times I turn around and I'm like, okay.
I feel like you're so good at that. I am just getting there. I am just...
Yeah, because you are...
Because before I was like, I don't give up. And now I'm like, okay, I do care.
Yeah, I think I... Probably personality flaw, maybe, I'm not sure. Kind of want people to like me, and I know if I say what I feel when I'm at that emotional, like... I remember one time, and I'll say this because it's my staff and I love them, I turned around and everybody was fucking sitting down on their phones. And I'm like, what I wanted to do was turn around and go, hey, stand the F up. Do something. But one, my client's going to be like, wow, you crazy. Like, who is this person and why is she a nut job and I've never seen the side of her? And my staff is going to be like, they're not going to receive that well. They're going to be like, wow, what a bitch. And they're not going to want to hear my constructive criticism from me because now I'm just yelling at them at like my high emotional high, where I can just take a few deep breaths. I might walk outside for a second. I might just go back to my client's conversation, pretend like I said earlier, the world isn't on fire behind me. And then later be like, hey, so I've noticed X, Y, and Z. Here is a binder of things you can do with your set times off, or like little breaks you can have. And like some of the things I said were like, go outside, take a walk, get some fresh air, you know? But I think I've learned, and I think you've learned too, that approaching it from that aspect, just people respect you more and they hear it more than when you come at them when you're feeling it.
Or seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I find myself doing that. I'll just be like, do this. Like, give them a task. Mm-hmm. Like, do this.
They don't know where it's coming from or why.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they're probably just like horrified that Alexis is on my ass today.
She just left her training session to ask me to dust the gym.
I'm going to go cry in the corner. Hopefully I still have a job.
You still have a job.
Like I said, I know your personality well enough to know, like, you do approach things very bluntly, but you don't hold grudges. Like, you attack it head on and it's done.
I have to. It eats me alive.
Oh, is that why?
Yes.
Oh, learn something new every day. It's the Virgo in you. That's the Jessica in you.
I can't let it go till I, like, literally let it go. I can't. So.
You guys are alike. That.
Yeah, I just need to get to
the
the level
Jessica
of expression. And I need to learn the level of expression that
Alexis has.
Comes with a lot of backlash.
People being scared.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Like, I don't take new clients often, but every now and then I will. They're like, oh my God, I thought you were such a bitch. You're not a bitch. And I'm like,
at times.
Don't piss me off. I'm just kidding.
You're not, though.
No, you're not really.
No, but I mean, you have to set boundaries on everything, and maybe.
I think that's what it is. Like, I keep my boundaries very tight.
Very tight, very open, very bluntly
yes.
about boundaries. But it's good. But maybe making some more with your community, staff relationship, and business owner relationship, which is hard.
I need my planner.
It's hard in both of our industries because, like we said earlier, they're like our clients become people like we're invested in, and same thing with the gym. Like, you want to go to dinners with these people, and like there's a level of that you know, I know for my husband's industry is like something you need to do to create and keep that relationship to where you're keeping the business and the client and they're coming, but there is like a weird line you kind of have to tether on that one so that personal things don't then affect the business, right?
And between being a hairstylist and being in a gym, those are already such personal experiences. People are sitting in your chair and they're sharing their lives with you, and stylists that you work with are coming in and sharing their lives with you. And then you take it outside into real life as well. And same with the gym.
Exactly.
Like, people are coming to you with things that they're going through, and they're there to try to feel better and work through it. And then, you know, going outside of the gym, we're not just like working in like the office where it's like we have this,
and that's
and
we're
accomplish
dealing
this.
with that right
It's
now. Like if
personal.
something happens to like in somebody's life at the gym, like a trainer or something like that, and then they handle themselves in a certain way, and then everyone has their own opinion on how we should handle it as business owners, and it's like, these people are our family.
Right.
Like if something happens, we just don't throw them away. Like we are here to support them and get them through these hard times. And if it continues to happen, and I mean, it's exactly what happened at Canvas. Like you be there, you support, you bring them lunch, and you show up, and then if they can't get through, then you do something about it. But I think too, people get so invested in your business that they think that they have a say in the way that you handle behind the scenes. And it's like,
do you feel like if you were less personal with those people, that they would still come and have like a say?
no, I think you have to. But there's how you respond, which I don't handle that side.
To their unwarranted advice.
Nick handles that side. I'm like, please see husband, because whatever I say is not, they're just, so but and we wear it all. We wear it all at home. We literally, we wake up and we talk about Purefit. We go to sleep and we talk about Purefit. We're at Purefit, we talk about Purefit. Like,
your kids are at Purefit throwing around weights.
we are literally consumed, and I think it's so important to us. And I don't know really how we got here, but it just happens naturally when you love something so much and you're so passionate about it, and the people that are there, you care about their lives and their families, and it just, I don't know how you get to like a corporate side. Because like, how do you...
I think the corporate is, I mean...
Because this is what we're challenging right now. How do you duplicate culture?
You can't.
Can you? I think you can.
You think you can? I mean, if maybe similar culture. If
I didn't think you could.
Okay, well,
but I'm just trying.
Let's talk about this. So if I hypothetically inserted you, who inspired me to create the culture at Canvas, into a different location to run that location, would the culture be the same?
Without either one of us.
Like, you know, me popping in, but like you're the person everyone at that location sees and, you know,
I think if you create a system and like protocols and procedures, and it's like someone walks in, this is how you respond. Someone sits down, this is the consultation that you get, whether you sit down with Lexi, Alexis, or Jessica. Like, there is a Canvas way, there's a handbook, we live and breathe and die by it, but then you have to hold these people accountable.
But then does that feel corporate? If everyone is not, you know, Hannah's consultation versus my consultation.
Well, I think maybe there's just like guidelines, and then you can be like flexible within those. Okay. But you get kind of the same experience, the same quality of work, the same... I don't know. This is where I'm at in my life right now.
It would be like not twins, but like sisters.
Right.
Like our eyebrows and our ears.
Right.
That's right. So it's similar, but not the exact same personality verbatim.
Right. Like, you're not a robot.
No. But I do think that how you and I handle situations are different, despite working together for 6 years.
But at the same time, we're the same.
It's true. Yeah.
But I think...
And it takes your staff being on board as well. Mm-hmm. And some people are going to be on board with that, and some people are really going to appreciate it because they're like, I like this structure, or I like having these guidelines, and I want to be a part of this culture, so I'm going to do those things.
I think that's where that comes from, like hire slow, fire fast. Like, and that's
I love
so
that.
hard, right? Like for me, it's not. But I'm not the only one running this
That's
business.
so hard. It's not though.
No, see, I hire fast and fire fast. I'm like, I need someone to fill this seat. Oh, it's not you. So it's like, it's not, I have to kind of switch I feel like you hire really slow.
Real slow.
Like I called for my first reference the other day and boy, it was so eye-opening. Like just using a reference on an application. Like you can learn so much about somebody you don't know by calling someone they've worked for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I mean, you know this. I mean, you both know this. Utilize my staff when hiring on people and basically have everyone come and do like a practice day and see if the vibe fits them, if it's something they like, and if it fits our vibe. And some of our stylists are very quick to be like, no. And you know, you and Hannah are always like, well, maybe, and whatever. But it's once you put a new employee in with the group, I think it's much easier and quicker to see if they're gonna fit, step up, do all the things.
So what if said employee is like,
Yes.
is like, goes above and beyond, is like doing things you don't ask and is being so
They train
helpful,
the next one.
but the rest of the staff is not on board because maybe the same staff isn't doing, you know,
So
because does it hit a line where you're like, okay, you're one-upping me, like you're making me feel like I'm not doing a good enough job, or is it setting an example?
So I think two things. Sets a good example, makes everyone, because now I can, or manager can go around and say, hey, you see that? That's what you're supposed to be doing. You guys have been here for 4 years and we've all gotten lax, us included, but like, remember when we used to do that? Or we never did that before, but like, that's working.
It's very helpful.
It's very helpful. Like, I know it's not in your norm, but like, let's try to start implementing at least some of it. And I mean, my go-to is like, Catherine as an assistant. We love her as an assistant. She's a shark.
I need her back.
So our next assistant, which I'm interviewing too.
Hallelujah.
Woo, woo, hallelujah. But they have to pass the Catherine test. I mean, she in 2 seconds will be like, nope. Or she'll be like, no, I like her. She gets it. I mean, the last assistant we hired showed up an hour before I got to work, and she showed up to work with Catherine. I walked through the door and Catherine goes, yep, she's good. Because she could tell she was on it, she was doing, and she wasn't just like following her around and not taking the initiative. Granted, you don't have to be so black and white as my fellow New Yorker Catherine, who I love so much, but that is super beneficial to have. And now anyone else, even if they're not, you know, I don't expect them to be a carbon copy, but utilizing her to train the new expectation, I think is super valuable.
I'm taking that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, I feel like you've lived it we've had some assistants who filled a space. And
well, you can be super vibey and fun and like be like social and
but it's not it, right?
You're there to work also.
Yeah, and there was one season where it literally was busy season and we were looking for assistants, but everyone's busy. No one's looking for a job. And, you know, we got an assistant, hired him. I was like, I don't even care who it is. We just need extra hands. And, you know, long-term didn't end up working out. And I was like, oh, I think the hiring just to have a person did more damage to the business than it did good having an extra set of hands. So then I had to like rework and build that. And so I do think having someone who's making everyone step it up a little bit is always going to be beneficial.
I realized like how much I can do on my own
without an assistant. Then we were just really lazy because we were like, oh, foils. I need foils.
Oh, I love having an assistant, but
you can do it without.
I can do it.
But you don't fill that mentorship.
And I am like very structured. Like I don't like my client waiting. I'm supposed to be done at 12. I'm done at 12. Like, so getting out of
Her
that.
and I are opposites in that way.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like, your client's been waiting for 15 minutes, Lexi. She's like, I know. And I have another one. She's early. I'm like,
Meanwhile,
I'm like, would anybody want a latte? I'm going to get a coffee as well.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But I mean, I try not to do it to new clients who don't know me, but I feel like once you do have those relationships, it's like, I don't know, to me, yes, time is everyone's most valuable thing, and I do my best to never disrespect someone's time because you can never get back time, right? And I value that. But that being said, my clients who know me aren't necessarily just there for getting their hair done, just like clients who come to Purefit aren't necessarily there just for this one specific issue. They love the people that they're surrounded with. They love their relationship with you or their trainer, and that's what keeps them coming back. So if I happen to be 15 minutes late, I'm going to make sure they have a drink and are comfy and good, but they're not sitting there looking at me like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? They're just not. I don't, because they're also, you know, family and friends at this point. So, you know, once you have that rapport, again, be on time for the clients, guys. Let's be on time for the clients. But it does happen, you know?
Yeah.
And when you don't have an assistant, sometimes things I can't, you know.
And realizing getting anxious about it isn't going to
right.
fix it, or rushing through your client. But I'm like.
No, because if you were the client, you know, someone, I forget what stylist, what class I took that they said this to me. They're like, if you are 5 minutes behind, right? Let's say you finishing the client at 12:05, you at 12 o'clock is sitting there waiting for you. Curl the hair and take the picture. Why? Because that next client isn't going to think, oh, she's curling her hair. They're going to think, oh, great. She's going to take the time to do me to completion too and take my picture. So it's just like flipping the way you're thinking about it, and it changes the energy. If you're rushing through that client, you're like, oh, wow, she's rushing me now. She's really rushed finishing my hair because she's 15 minutes late and she probably has somebody after me.
True.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, a little energy shift.
Energy shift.
Cold plunge. What is it? Higher, slow, fire, fast.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that one. I'll have to implement that a little bit more. I hire really slow and I never really fire people.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. It's awkward. It's hard. Firing is the hardest part.
Oh, I can't imagine.
No. She's looking at me like, it's not hard for me.
Like,
I'll do it for you.
I'll do it. You need to fire her. I got this.
Usually they're like, I quit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this has been amazing.
Just what time is it?
I have no idea what time it is. You're probably past your babysitter mark, but I love you for it.
Oh, shit.
Real life in real time.
Here's my planner.
Welcome to Balance. I love you. Okay. Kicked her out. She's got to go. We've overspent our time by an hour and didn't even know. Well, that's real life and what happens when you're juggling so many things on your plate, and you know, your me time is usually pretty short, and unfortunately when friends get together, sometimes we go, you know, a little long. Like when we say we're going to brunch for an hour and it's like 4, you know.
Yeah, it's fine.
But we're so excited to have her and have her insights on here. We hope it was helpful and useful, right? I think she had some good points and was like super honest about things she doesn't know, right?
Yeah. I love Alexis, love her energy, and love her perspective on things and
approach to life. Right?
Yes. And I do want to say, actually, never mind.
Say it.
Well, I wanted to say to Alexis, and this is something that maybe she'll
get to hear
she'll get
and
to hear
cry about later.
Yes. That there was someone who I was talking to a couple weeks ago, and he was saying like he's got his job and he's got this and he's got that he's balancing all these things, and he's like, it keeps me up at night because I don't want to mess it up. And I didn't get to say it to him at the time, but I was thinking about it while we were talking with Alexis, is don't take for granted how special that is, that she does have something that does pull at her, all her different time energies, and making sure that she's where she needs to be and managing all the things that she needs to manage. Is don't take that for granted of how important and how special that is, that you love something that much, that you're sacrificing so much of your energy and your time to make sure that it's seen through and done well. That is just a testament to who you are as a person, and how much you love what it is that you're doing.
Which I feel like means you're on the right path, right? If you're that invested in what you're doing and it's all encompassing in like a good way.
Yeah.
You know, not a way that you hate your job.
Right.
I always tell everyone, like, if you hate your job, quit. I mean, even my dad looked at me so weird. He was complaining to me about a client one time. I go, Dad, who else does what you do? He's like really lucky in New York. Basically has like a monopoly almost-ish on what he does. And he's like, no one. I go, so fire them. And he was like, you know, my dad's 73. What a concept to fire a paying client. And I was like, there isn't anybody else. They're just going to have to stop nagging you or changing whatever it is that's causing you to lose sleep at night and like redirect their energy and it'll work out.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. It just shows how much, you know, you care and how much it means to you. And that's an amazing thing.
Well, we love Alexis. We love Purefit and her little babies. And that she's in the salon with me Tuesdays.
Tuesdays are the best.
Really hoping for Tuesdays, Thursdays. Nick. Tuesdays, Thursdays. Whether she likes it or not, I would love to have her every day of the week. I know that's not possible, but, you know, I do cherish her energy and her inspiration, you know, behind the chair. To not only me, but to the staff and the clients. I think it's really great.
Absolutely.
We're so lucky to have her on.
Yes.
Don't take anything for granted, people. And we'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.